Assalamu alaikum, Ramadan challenge day 17. Today we're going to be learning 5 new words. They are adhan, nur, salah, badr, and bid'ah. Now the first word adhan, we all know this word, we hear it a lot, but do we really know what it means? All right, so adhan, the one that we hear every day for the 5 prayers, is information, right? To inform. It's actually the informing. It's the gerund form of the verb, which is to inform. To inform, right? Inform you that it's time to pray, right? وَأَذَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ يَوْمَ الْحَجِّ الْأَكْبَرِ, right? In Surah At-Tawbah. This is information. This is giving information, right? Informing information coming from Rasul and Allah, right? Right, and the asl of that and the origin of that is alif, dhal, noon. Adhina ya'dhanu means to know, right? Adhina ya'dhanu means to know. Adhana would be to inform, to make someone know something, right? And from it you have adhan, which is the call out for prayer, to let people know it's time to pray. And then you have udhun, what? Udhunain. Your udhun, the same root, which is where this is the sensory organ by which you get informed about something, right? So we have that as well. We have also in Surah Al-Baqarah, فَأْذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, right? When Allah is talking about riba, it's talking about interest. He says, be aware of a war from his prophet and himself. Right, so this is information, informing. The next word we have is nur. Nur, nun, waw, ra. Right, nara is to glow, so to speak, to emanate light. Right. Then we have anara, which would be to make something light, to brighten it. Then we have manara, which is the lamp post, or the post which you have the light going around, right? Which allows people know where the border of the country is if it's on the coast, right? The ships that come in, you have the manara, which is where you get that from. Then we have from that in English we have minaret, right? Minaret, from that it's taken from minare in Turkish, because they pronounce the last part instead of a ra, they call it a re, right? Like hatta, hatte. And the Shamiyin do that a lot as well, right? The people from the Levant, the Syrians, the Jordanians, Palestinians, and the Syrian and the Lebanese. We have nar as well, nar, which is fire, and we can also understand the relationship between fire and light, right? This was the ancient sort of light. This is the ancient source of light, so they're very much related. You turn on the fire, you can see all of a sudden, right? So there shouldn't be any confusion about that. Then we have salah. Salah has the origin of sod, lam, wow. Sod, lam, wow. And you can see it in salawat as well, the plural of salah, salawat. See it as well. We can see the wow there. But that's the origin. The origin is sod, lam, wow. Now, salah yasla is to, again, remember alif and wow, alif, wow, and yeah, they're like camouflage letters, or they're always changing each other. So don't ask me why it's not salu, not salu. Okay, it's salah. Salah yasla is to keep close to fire. It's to stay with fire in order to warm yourself. To stay close to fire, to warm yourself, right? So when you have salah, which is with the shadda, salah is to put in fire. It's to make close to the fire, to put in fire, right? So as though our salah, which comes from that, ana usalli, is what you would say, I pray. Ana usalli. What I'm really doing, it seems like what I'm really doing is I'm by this action throwing my bad deeds into the fire to kind of purify it, right? And we know fire purifies anything, right? It purifies fire. If you put impure metal in fire, it separates it, It separates it. It separates the impurities from the actual thing itself, right? So fire is known to purify. Okay, so as though by this action we're purifying ourselves. Allahu A'lam. And then we have as well, you see in Surah Al-Qasas, Musa says when he sees the fire, alayhi salam, Musa has come with his family back from the Sham region to Egypt after his and on his way he sees a fire, right? And he says, "La'allakum tastalun," right? So he goes to the fire, hoping that he can get some kind of information. Maybe there'll be people there, or at least he can get some of that fire and bring it back. La'allakum tastalun. That way you can warm yourselves. Okay, you can warm yourselves with it. You can seek warmth with it. So la'allakum tastalun. That comes from that. The next word is badr. Now badra yabduru means to quicken, to rush to something, to quicken, to rush to something, right? And then we have Badr. Obviously today is the 17th of Ramadan, which is the anniversary of the Battle of Badr, 313 against 1,000, right? On a night that has the Badr in it, which is the full moon, right? The full moon is also called a Badr. It's also called a Badr. Now you ask what's the relationship between the two. When there's a full moon, right, around 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th, just about of the month, the full moon, once the sun goes down, the full moon immediately comes up. We can see it immediately, as though it's quickening to take its place, as though it's rushing right behind the sun, right? The sun kind of dips and he like, here I am, right? He pops up. So you can see the full moon quickly right after the sun sets. That's why it's called Badr. That's the opinion, and that's what the scholars say about that. That's the reason why it's called Badr. But Badr in its original form, Bad, Dal, Ra, is to quicken. And from it you have Mubadara as well. And you have Istabdara, and you have Tabadara, etc. All of it has that same meaning of to quicken to something, hasten to something. The next word is bid'ah. Bid'ah, ba, dad, ayn, has the meaning of to cut. To cut. Bada'a means to cut. Okay? To cut. Qata'a means the meaning of the exact same thing. Now, so bid'ah or bad'ah with the fatha or the kasra means a part, right? A cut part of something. So when you have bida'ah wa asarruhu bida'atan in Surah Yusuf, when they found Yusuf alayhi salam in the well, right, they picked him up, they hid him in their bida'ah wa asarruhu bida'atan, they hid him within their possession. The bida'ah is their possession, is the part, is a cut part, if you will, of their possessions, of what they own, their mal, which we spoke about yesterday. So bida'ah, your goods, right? Your goods are a portion of your wealth, right? They're a portion of your wealth. They can be translated into money, right? So they're a portion of your wealth. Bida'ah comes from that. And then you have bid'i, you have bid'i sinin, for example, in Surah Rum. غُلِبَتِ الروم وهم من بعد غلبهم سيغلبون في بضع سنين, in a few years, few parts, right? Few, right? You have, obviously we know in Arabic we have the farda, we have the mathna, which is couple, right? Twos, and then we have what's above that, right? So bid'i sinin is between 3 and 9. Some say between 3 and 10. Allahu alam, right? But it's few. It's a chunk of years, right? Let's say bid'ata ashar rajulan, which will be 10 and then some, above 10 men, right? But specifically, it's got to be like 13 to 19, okay? So that's that.